And notice what he says here. This is a verse that I've often misused. In verse 6, he says, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Now, this is a verse that's often used to teach eternal security. Okay? Now, eternal security is right. There is such a thing as eternal security. It's real. That is salvation. But that's not what he's talking about right here. When he mentions this here, when he says, he which hath begun a good work in you, what he's telling them here is that the work of furthering the gospel that had begun with them was going to go on till the day of Christ. The work that they were doing was a work that was going to continue. Isn't that what we all want? You know, I don't want to just, when I started this church, I didn't want to just start this church as a place where I could have a job for a while, you know, and then until I'm fine, and then me leave and someday, and then it just shut down. You know, I want the work that we do to go on forever. Now, even if this church shuts down someday, and I hope it doesn't, but even if it does, that doesn't mean the work's not going to continue, because are we not still benefiting from the work that started in that day? We absolutely. In fact, we specifically benefit from what they did in Philippi because of the fact the Apostle Paul wrote to them, and we've been using his letter for the last 2,000 years. We've been teaching the things that he taught them for the last 2,000 years. We've been getting inspiration from what he wrote to them for the last 2,000 years. I was talking with Brother Austin this morning about how I was going to be preaching this, and about the importance of just looking at these things in context. And and it's like, we all think that we know the book of Philippians, because we've all heard preaching from it. And he right away was like, yeah, I can do all things through Christ. And yeah, we all know that verse. So because everybody has a verse memorized from the book of Philippians, everybody thinks that they've got that book down. But here's the thing. We do all have, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. And y'all realize that people have been using that verse to motivate themselves to keep going for the last 2,000 years. That was something Paul wrote to these people. That was something Paul wrote encouraging these people. The work that was being done there, there is still fruit from it today. There are people some of these people I'm talking about out there today that are still souling with no church backing them, with no church encouraging them. I wonder how many times they've probably used this verse. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. Aren't we thankful that these Philippians were there doing the work? Aren't we glad they sent the Apostle Paul something to be an encouragement to him, so he would write a letter being an encouragement back to them that is being an encouragement to us still today? I wonder how many people didn't quit throughout the years because of I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. I wonder how many people actually went and tried to do something for the Lord because of Philippians 4:13. This work that had began in this church in Philippi is still going on today, and it's going to continue until the day of Christ, until the rapture. Now, think about that. Right there, that just tells us, how important the work we do, how important it is. What we do often motivates somebody to do something that motivates somebody else to do something. This isn't just about ourselves and what we do. When you quit, it's not just you quitting. You quitting might cause someone else to quit, or it might keep someone else from actually starting something in the future. The works that we do, they follow us. And that we ought to think about that. And I want to do a work that's going to continue into the day of Jesus Christ. And the Apostle Paul told him that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. He's telling them, this work that you've started, this work that's trying to be stopped, that Paul is in prison for, hey, they're not going to stop our work. This work that God begun in you, it's going to be performed, it's going to go on into the day of Christ. That's encouraging right there. That's what Paul told them, and the fact is, it is still going on. And so, while that particular church probably isn't still there in Philippi today, I wonder how many churches there are because of the work they did. Not just because of the churches they went on to start and how they scattered, but once again, just because of this letter that we have.